Hi everyone, I'm Anja. I'm a channel and Akashic reader, and today I want to share a channeled message from Mintakan consciousness with you. And for those of you who are not familiar with what is Mintaka, I want to give a brief introduction. So Mintaka is said to have been a star system in the Orion star belt. It is no longer existing, and it was a wonderful world of non-duality, of deep love and light for all beings. You've seen those as mer people, mermaids, the dolphins. If you hear light language from Mintaka, it always sounds like, or most often sounds like the kickering of the dolphin or the deep sound of the whale. It's a very playful world. I've seen it in Akashic readings when I had to do this for clients. It's most often like a world filled of liquid light. So underwater is very happy and blissful state of being, very playful, not childlike in our sense because those beings were very mature and wise in a way, but just very carefree, very light, very sensitive, and overall extremely playful and interacting with those sea creatures. So, therefore, Mintaka is always considered to be the world of the mermaids, mer people, and underwater living, basically. So their civilization was deeply rooted in unity, harmony, interactions out of pure commitment to each other, playfulness, blissfulness. And there are two different versions of why this world fell or come to a destruction. In Starseed teachings, one say that it moved out of this state of unity more into a state of polarity. And it lost its inner stability here and could no longer hold this form of existence in its in a structural body, in a structural place. So they moved to a more consciousness-based existence. Others say they were invaded, the world was made uninhabitable, and they had to move away throughout the galaxy, basically, found new homes. And this is why they still have this longing, they still have this feeling of homesickness, intense feeling of being out of place also on Earth. So it's said that Mintakan starseeds, they feel that this is a very harsh playground. They are not comfortable with how people interact. They do not feel comfortable in a room where there's tension or when they have to witness arguments. They always suffer when other people feel bad. They feel very out of place, not very much at home here. However, I feel this is true for many star beings or star seeds. But it is also very typical for Mintaka. So after a short introduction on how they exist right now and why they are so important for us still, they will talk about this longing, this feeling out of place, and how to overcome this, how to stay in a vibration that is more like home for you. So I will now let them speak themselves and yeah, wish you a wonderful time listening to the channeling, and later, as usual, we will talk a bit. We are present. We're present in this moment, and we are present in eternity. We greet you. We greet you with our heart and with our undying flame of remembrance of a star that is no longer active, but still in the universe known, and is able to recollect, reorganize, and reform at any moment in any given time. We're existing in the form of remembrance. We are remnants of a memory even. However, we are able to come together if needed in form as we were once and now no longer are. the recollection of our collective memory is still strong and is still able to let Mintakan arise and be still part of the Orion Belt. However, even greater as it once was, it is no longer bound to this specific location in the universe. It is now able to move through the universe to expand upon its once known memory, to take on new memberships, to forgive those once involved in our undertaking, and our fall, if you want, the fall of Mintaka, which gave way to our greatest rise yet, a star that is solidly consisting of souls, not bound to any location, not bound to any form, be it societal, geographical, in any shape or form, connected to any way of existence, of any consciousness. It is free of this, it is free of all, and it is able to exist, therefore, forever untouched, and still forever in movement. It is a very special form between staying whole, yet never staying still. From this point of existence, we greet you now, and we're looking forward to all of your questions. Mintaka still exists in the universe for multiple reasons. And we are still able to reform as we once were for multiple reasons. You all share the memory, the collective memory of many stars like Mintaka. Earth has a specific history to Mintaka. And we're still in your galaxy, if you want, as splinters of history that is still connected to something ongoing, a history that is not completed, and how could it be yet? It is still ongoing because you're all in the process of evolving throughout this topic around this inner friction. Think of us as silvery threads that are lightening up in the dark, reconnecting with your brain, invoking dreams and visions and memories of Mintaka. The longing of this, the pain and the wound of the fall, the longing of the rise. We're still here, and we don't go anywhere. We need this wound being invoked in you all, being tickled, so that you still have the urge to scratch it, the urge to tackle it on, to never neglect this particular thing that is the common force on earth that drives you towards the one collective that is not concerned with anything else but the thrival and not the survival. Peace is not even the goal. Peace is a side effect. Peace is an underlying note in an orchestra of balance and perfection, of coexisting and cooperating, weaving into each other with love and care, knowing that if the other one is thriving, I am thriving. If the other one is dying, I am dying. If something precious is taken from you when another one is dying, and we do not mean leaving this planet, but being anything else but high vibrational. Your goal must be to stay in a higher vibration, not simply because, not forcing yourself to do that, but being able to naturally stay in no other vibration but the highest that is possible for you. Because you are taken care of by yourself and by the others. You have this trust in the universe that it is there. It will hold you, it will keep you. And you are trusting the flow. A ball that is thrown on the earth in the air knows it will bounce back to the ground. It does not doubt gravity. It does not matter where you are, what you are, who you are. You just want to express yourself in that vibration that is your core vibration, that is you. Immediately you feel at home when that is possible. Depending on your journey here on Earth, you might manipulate this more easily through people, others maybe through location, yet another one again through achievements, interactions, reflections. Find what makes it possible for you to stay for as long as possible in your natural vibrational state. Help others recognize their natural vibrational state also, if you can assist them. And trust that you are home. We want to say to all of you, while the universe is big and wide, you can never be anywhere outside of home. You're always home. What you might have difficulty vibrate in your natural state of existence. This is why when you seek out Earth for the second time, it feels like more of a place where you originated from, and you are able to adjust much quicker. You recognize it as being part of home. being part of the landscape, you are able to exist. Like when you had foreign food for some while, and then suddenly you taste the great taste, the simple taste of an apple again. It is the taste of home because the taste of your childhood, the taste of your adulthood. It is something that was accompanying you for a very long time in the most modest situations in your daily life. You were never regarding it with much thought. Maybe the apple you were eating all your life did not even grow in the region you were living in. However, it is recognizable for you. You are connecting it to states of being, to states of frequency. Food, therefore, is for many people on Earth a natural enhancer of your own frequency, because when you are able to eat, obviously there is peace and quiet. Otherwise, you would be on escape or hunt or whatever people do on Earth. You're not frightened all the time there. Sometimes you have peace and quiet too, so you can sleep and eat. And therefore you reconnect those states and those foods to being comfortable enough to vibrate in a much higher frequency than when you are at work, for example, or having a conversation with a particular human being that usually unlocks difficult conversations. Every soul is a mother in a sense they are creating. You are creating on Earth constantly. You're birthing new parts of your own personality. Even that is mothering, because these new parts of your own personality must be nurtured in order to grow into maturity. They cannot grow into maturity if you do not tend to them. Do you understand this? In that sense, you're constantly birthing, having children of your own. And they are parts of your being, personalities of your being that need more mothering in order to grow and mature. In order to not feel scared and vibrate on a different level. So think of this: once you have mastered a certain degree of maturity, is probably the best way to describe it. Let's see if we find another. Accomplishment. When you have accomplished another personality of yours to a certain degree, they are able to handle this existence without so much anxiety, meaning they are able to vibrate on a higher frequency. As a collective, you and your many personalities then have the chance to vibrate on an overall higher frequency. Do you understand? That leads to greater comfort on Earth. The feeling, the sense of home is more complete, because you do not consist of 3 generations, but only 2 or 1. So a wise old person usually consists of only 1 generation, even if they are a child at heart. Hello, welcome back. What did you think? So one or two things I want to touch upon briefly, and one is making peace is not the goal, they said, it is a side effect of alignment. And I was thinking, well, how does it work in everyday life? Most often, we feel we have to make peace because for peace's sake, right? So we're sick and tired of quarreling. We don't want to argue. It is getting too much for us. And then we will just keep our mouth shut and think to ourselves, yeah, okay, you have your opinion, I have my opinion. Let's make peace. The quarrel, however, is still ongoing, even though we do not address it. And I feel this is a wonderful approach to turn this around and feel, okay, where can we actually make a commitment to the other party here? How can we come in alignment? How can we both feel comfortable within our disagreement even? And then peace becomes a natural state of being, a natural side effect because we have talked it over. I think this is a very wonderful approach, and it forces us to think differently and move out of our egocentric point of view to I want to have my peace and quiet right now, I cannot deal with this, to let's make this a co-creation of alignment, and then we have peace naturally, and it is probably a lot more long lasting. The other thing I want to address, because I know that you guys, a lot of my clients, a lot of my friends, a lot of family even, have this feeling of being homesick, of wanting to go home, of Earth is too much. It is a not so nice place to be right now. So whether it is true that Mintaka was attacked and had to undergo war, and maybe reenacts this in different wars on Earth since millennia, or whether they just had this instability in their own existence and moved from unity to duality and could no longer hold this planet's existence. It does not really matter, because whether you have this instability inside of your own structure, inside of your own society, or as an invader, it is always going back to duality. There is always the separation of the I, the we, the unity, and the outsider that intrudes. A lot of this is true for us, a lot of it is true in our everyday lives, and this is where the feeling of homesickness originates from. So when you are not in this blissful state of being, at peace, when you're not at peace, you cannot vibrate high vibration or on a higher frequency, basically. This is the location where your home resides. The feeling of I'm good, I'm at home, I'm at ease. So it is not a location, it is actually a vibrational state. And I love that they also gave us right away a few hints how to achieve this. And I also love that they mentioned food, because food is a natural enhancer. We all know that. When we do want to feel good, many of us tend to eat something nice. And I love that they chose the wonderful example of an apple, or a food that is actually healthy and maybe was around for a very long time in your childhood, and you didn't connect it to the state of being at home. But once you are, an adult, maybe moving somewhere else and having not had this food for a certain while, you actually remember the blissfulness of having home cooked meal from mom, or just from your hometown, the local specialties you can only eat in that certain area. That gives you a feeling of belonging. And moving away from this sense of location, a very physical thing on Earth, and more into a vibrational home, more into a vibrational sense of being, where we can relax and really be ourselves here. This is a very wonderful approach also to make yourself feel more comfortable on Earth, and maybe even lose the feeling of homesickness a little bit. Okay, guys, let's work with this for now. I hope you're all good having had Christmas, a wonderful Christmas or Winterfest or whatever you celebrate, and moving then soon into the next year. I don't know for sure when this video comes out, so maybe even on the new year. And then I wish you a wonderful start to 2026. I haven't come around yet to do a energy update for the new year. I'm not a firm believer in an energy update for a whole year because energies are changing so much, and I don't really think I can do a whole year of, you know, I think this is a very wide stretch, but I will do one for January in any case. All right. I hope you're well, and I see you soon.